because this is still February, I thought it might be a good time to talk about a late Valentine's Day type movie. And that film is, of course, Southside with You. Let's talk about it. So I was hanging out with my dad recently. In fact, Super Bowl weekend. And, some of you know my dad's health is not the best, sort of up and down these days. And I'm always sort of off in one place or another running around. So I haven't really been around a lot lately to sort of hang out with my parents. So this particular weekend I was there hanging out with Dad. And he and I were in the room talking, and the movie comes on. And within the first 10 minutes, I hadn't seen the movie before, right? Within the first few minutes or so, I figured it was Southside with You. And so he and I sat, we talked, and we watched the movie. Not the sort of movie you watch with your dad. If you're a son, it's not the type of movie fathers and sons watch together. Maybe it is. I don't know. It's certainly not the type of movie that I've watched with my dad. Dad's one of those old school sort of, manly men of a certain time, and but I think because it had this film was about two strong black characters. This was something that, and he's always been partial to Barack Obama, so I think that was probably what, and February, Black History Month, all that. I feel like that's probably what kept him watching. But for me, this movie I found was interesting. It was actually quite beautiful. I appreciated how. So, if you don't know, for those who don't know, this movie takes place over the course of a day. This is about essentially the courtship between Barack Obama, long before he was president, when he was a young employee at the firm that was his wife, Michelle Obama, and this is a story of one day they spent together, which would essentially become their first date. And I was a fan of just how it played out. It showed Tika Sumpter, who many of you know is a remarkable actor. She plays young Michelle, and the two of them go out for it starts as a meeting, an outing, before they have a meeting they're supposed to go to discuss more serious matters, sort of a community meeting that they're eventually going to go to. And all the while she's being told, oh, this is a date by her parents. This is, whoever, at home before she goes to meet young Barack. And but she's been emphatic that this is not a date. This is going to be something they're going to go into a meeting, and it's business. That's it. We don't mix personal stuff with business stuff, and that's how she's operating. Meanwhile, young Barack is, he's clear about what's going on. Like, yeah, there's an event going on, but he's not afraid to let it be known that he's trying to see what's going on with Michelle. So he's obviously smitten and taken with her, and that's what this story is. So the film takes place over the course of a day, and I think it's kind of cool. One of the things that, if you know some of the story about their courtship, one of the things Barack Obama has mentioned in conversations about their early days together is that the first date was also the day they watched Spike Lee's film Do the Right Thing, another film that also takes place over the course of one day. And I think that's kind of cool that we're watching a movie taking place over the course of a day, and we get to see the characters going on their date, watching a film that it takes place over the course of a day, and how so much is explored in a single day. And I think there's something about the idea that in one 24-hour period, a whole universe of things can transpire. You look at it like an episode of 24, right? If you've seen that show, it's an amazing show, by the way. If you haven't, I suggest you watch it. But you can stop a terrorist attack in 24 hours if you're Jack Bauer. Or you can experience a day so hot that it can contribute to rising tensions between different races and different areas, and that it can lead to a sort of explosion of emotions. It can contribute to race riots and the burning down of a business, a family business. In the case of Do the Right Thing, or you can fall in love, as is in the case of Southside with You. You can explore another person's history and allow them space to explore yours. You get to know another person in just someone who you see every day, but in one 24-hour period, you could also get to know them more deeply than you thought you could on any other day. So it's I find it fascinating that, and you can experience a whole wave of emotions in that 24-hour period. So, yeah, there's something cool about when a story takes place over the course of one day, and all the things that you can experience in that time. And I think Southside with You is one of those good examples of just a solid story of two people really getting to know each other outside of the workplace and coming to find their footing with each other and challenging each other, and really getting to sort of suss the other person out to see who are you actually dealing with, which is what most any situation of courtship is. But when you're dealing with two people, in this case anyway, two people as accomplished and intelligent, and lovely looking. Both of them are beautiful people, physically, and you get to see them sort of match wits, which is always cool to see. And I love seeing that type of stuff in movies and in stories, experiencing people when you get to see how they are alike and how they're different. You get to see two people who find their other in each other. Like, you get to see how equal they are and how they've met their match. It's beautiful to watch unfold. Casting. So I think for the most part the casting is pretty solid, particularly Parker Sawyers. I think he does a fantastic job as Barack Obama, despite being slightly darker skinned. He's got a megawatt smile, and he's done a lot to really get the intonations, the inflection, the body language of Barack Obama down pretty well. And it doesn't feel like an impression so much as it feels like a very good embodiment of the character and the sort of person of Barack Obama. Yeah, Parker Sawyers does a good job. Tika Sumpter, I thought she's great, but she's good in a lot of things anyway. That's sort of expected for her. I mean, the real surprise for me was Parker Sawyers. He was really good. Despite there were some issues with the delivery of some of the dialogue, and I don't know that it was the actor's fault. I think probably it was a writing issue. It reminded me of Selma, the film by Ava DuVernay about the March on Selma. And particularly the dialogue, the ways in which certain characters spoke. I think the how they approached the way Dr. King spoke. The filmmakers, they studied his speeches, and they watched tons of video, and I'm sure they did something similar for Southside with You. But because this film was less political and less like a biopic per se. I think that's probably why the dialogue sounds the way it does. Some of it is sort of, obviously you take liberties as a writer when you are, filling in the details of stuff that you don't know. We know about their first date, but there's a lot of conversation things that we don't know about. And so in the conversation between the two characters, having them speak, whether it sounds authentic or not, I think can come down to, particularly these two people are still alive. So even if they weren't, there's enough footage of them around that you can study pretty well how they speak. And incorporate that into the story. I think for the most part, it's done really well, but there are certain parts where it feels slightly off in a way that it didn't feel off in Selma. And I don't know, do what you will with that, but I don't know if it comes down to a lack of study or like how much time you have to put something together, how much time was allowed for the stuff that they gleaned from real world stuff of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, what was allowed to sort of sink in and how much time they had to do that when crafting the story. So anyway, that was just my feeling is that some of it sounds slightly off, but for the most part, it's well done. I think this is a strong film and a really lovely, sweet depiction of the first date of Barack Obama and Michelle Robinson. And, if you haven't seen it, I think it's worth a look. And I figured since this video will probably go up the first week of March. But as I'm recording it in the last days of February, consider it a belated Valentine's special. So that's going to do it for this particular review. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've seen it, let me know. And if you haven't, go watch it. No, thank you for watching this video. And I wish you all a good week. And I'll be back again with another video. Take it easy.